I've always wanted to do a show with women of different generations, backgrounds, and views. We call it The
View. Hello, boys, girlies, and non-binaries of the interwebs. I am Sarah Kellyson, and this is The View History. So, welcome back, everyone. Sorry, it's been a while. I think I'm going to do today sober, but today is a big day. Even though today is a big day, I need to do it sober because last time I got sick right after the show because I was slushed. So, today we'll just do it a little more chill. We're going to chill out, but we're going to also celebrate. First off, I want to say that congratulations to The View on their Emmy nomination. They have like 8 Emmy nominations. The girls finally got an Emmy nomination. We were praying for it. Some of the shows on that Emmy nomination list I never knew existed. I'm like, you're just making up shows now. Like, let's just be real. The View's the only real competition on there. Along with the Tamron Hall show, let's just be real about that. But I hope they win something. I think even if they won like hair and makeup or something, there's a lot of really, for me, like if it's any award, it's cool. Like it doesn't have to be just the host itself. Like that's the cherry on top, but any of the awards would be great to see recognition from, the crew that work there. Cause I know the crew is like really cool and they work hard. So I think they deserve it, especially hair and makeup. I think hair and makeup deserves it because they get dragged in the media all the time. Like they always get the blame as being the leakers when we know they're not the leakers because they really aren't the leakers. Like they're just like the fall people. They're the fall guys usually. So they kind of deserved it. So it's deserved if they get an award. Sorry. But yeah. So today is a really good episode, I think, because today I see why Jenny McCarthy needed glasses to read a teleprompter during her season of The View, and I feel I do too because I cannot see shit on my screen right now. But I want to go through the itinerary today. So today we are celebrating 15 years of the most iconic day in View history ever. Like ever. Like there is not a more iconic day than this. There's not a more iconic scene than this. Like this changed the game for daytime. This changed the game for View history. This changed the game for the women's movement. Like it really pushed us a whole hell of a lot forward, in all honesty, because we had the most iconic fight ever today, 15 years ago, May 23rd, 2007, the split screen, Rosie versus Elisabeth.
Please, let's have a conversation. You know why I don't want to do this, Joy? No, let me tell you why I don't want to do it. Because here's how it gets spun in the media. Rosie, big, fat, lesbian, loud Rosie, attacks innocent, pure Christian Elisabeth. Yeah, and I'm not doing it for the rest of the day. Let me do it.
I haven't heard that line. Listen, I think
you should watch some of the shows that you don't watch.
You accused me of watching all of those shows yesterday.
I'm okay arguing with Elisabeth. You're just as sensitive when I'm hurt as I am when you were.
Yes.
Every time you've been hurt, did I reach out to you?
It's
personal. There's a war going on out there. It's not personal. I like watching Dancing with the Stars. This is exactly why. Do you believe that? Yes or no?
Excuse me. Let me speak.
You're going to double speak. It's just a yes or a no.
I am not a double speaker, and I don't put suggestions out there that lead people to think things and then not answer my own question.
I had a question to you, and you didn't answer.
I don't believe that you believe troops are terrorists. I have said that before. But when you say something like 650,000 Iraqis are dead, we invaded them. Let me finish.
You don't like the facts.
Who are the terrorists? I am all about facts. You know that. You tell me not to use facts because you want me to go only on emotion. Guess what? I like facts. Because you are an adult, and I am certainly not going to be the person for you to explain your thoughts. They're your thoughts. Defend your own insinuations. actions.
I defend my thoughts.
Your own thoughts.
Right, but every time I defend them, Elizabeth, it's poor little Elizabeth that I'm picking on.
You know what? Poor little Elizabeth is not poor little Elizabeth.
That's right. That's why I'm not going to fight with you anymore, because it's absurd. So for 3 weeks, you could say all the Republicans. You know what? You really don't understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Come on, that's it.
Because I don't understand how there can be such hurt feelings when all I did was say, look, why don't you tell everybody what you said? I did that as a friend.
All you did is not defend me. I asked you if you believed that I thought
answer your own question. I don't believe that your suggestion was right.
Since September,
yes,
I have told you I support the truth.
I have done the same for you.
I asked you if you believed what the Republican pundits were saying.
Did I say yes?
You said nothing, and that's cowardly.
No.
Nothing.
That is not. Do not call me a coward, because number one, I sit here every single day, open my heart, and tell people exactly what I believe.
So do I, Elizabeth.
Do not call me a coward, Rosie. I did not hide. It was not cowardly. It was honest. What is cowardly?
Is there no commercial in this show?
I'll tell you what's cowardly.
Iconic, legendary moment, like legendary. Like there will never be another View moment like this again. There will never be. They will try, but they can never be this moment. This is the moment of the show. This is the most iconic moment of the show of all time. Like literally, The View was never the same again after this. And it's one of the most iconic moments, if not the most iconic. Actually, I'll just say it's the most iconic moment in daytime history. And let me tell you why. This was a raw and very real conversation that was happening. It wasn't about what they were saying necessarily. It wasn't about the Iraq war. That's the context of what was being presented here. But let's read between the lines here. This was bigger than that. This was so much bigger because it was about a friendship that went south, truthfully. And that's why people connected with it, because it was like having a fallout with your best friend in a way. That's what we saw of what erupted in front of the screen here. That's really what happened. It wasn't fake. It was truly what it was. I felt The View has tried to do these types of spicy moments to get it to this level, but it's never going to be on this level again unless the chemistry is real. And I don't think the chemistry was more real than this moment, because here's the thing. Rosie and Elisabeth were friends. They were really, really close during Rosie's time on The View, whether they both want to admit it or not. It's just, there's a whole timeline and there's a lot of news articles on this. I remember watching this season all the time, like when it was before this fight. My moments before this fight is that the days before, I remember Rosie was getting more firm with Elisabeth. She was getting more and more firm with her and getting more antagonistic. And it was precisely after she announced she was leaving The View. She wouldn't be coming back the next season. And that's where things went south, truthfully. Like, there were times where Rosie would correct Elisabeth or try to help Elisabeth even, I remember. And there were some really good debates between Rosie and Elisabeth during that season, but they were healthy debates. They never went anywhere else. And they were really iconic moments. And I think Rosie O'Donnell this was the most iconic season of The View. Like, this was everywhere. Like, everyone was talking about this season, because having Rosie O'Donnell, say what you want about her, but she makes amazing TV. She makes great TV. She is one of, like her or not, she is one of the daytime queens of all time. She is one of the most legendary people in daytime, and she knows daytime inside and out. And that's why she brought The View to a new level. And it was never the same after she left. She we had more honest conversations about politics. There was a bit of politics before, but it really elevated it to the next level where we could really talk about it from a realistic stance instead of it being very surface level. And that's what I appreciate about her season on The View. And I think she made people better on this show. I think she made Elisabeth better, truthfully. I'm just going to be honest. She made her a more staunch type of Republican, is be like, you have to really believe what you're saying, Elisabeth. You have to believe it. You can't just say it, but you have to believe it. And before she was saying it, but now she was believing it. And I think it's just amazing. Like, it's honestly, it's really liberating, I think, and Megan said this actually, that it's very liberating to see women on daytime do this, because people, it really just shows you that there are a lot of shows where men do have battle to battle moments on screen, but people don't consider that a catfight. But in this moment, they consider it a catfight because it was two women doing it. But I do think this was the beginning of women, this being normalized for women, where women could talk about politics in a very passionate way. And I also think, but I do think there were wounds on both sides of this, because like I said, this was a very honest and genuine friendship, and you can tell it was. And that's why people connected with this. Anything that was done in the past couple of years where there was fighting and stuff, I just never truthfully connected with it because I knew there wasn't chemistry with the women. I didn't think there was chemistry with Joy and Megan, truthfully. I just didn't. And that's why not many people connected it to this level. People could connect with this fight. People could connect with it. Whereas like in recent years, it looks more like a publicity stunt more than anything. And here it just feels raw and real, and it's surprising. I do think there were days before where Rosie O'Donnell and Bill Getty and people behind the scenes were not getting along. And I do know all year long, people behind the scenes were not connecting with Rosie in a way, because Rosie wasn't the best at being a team player. She wanted to be an executive, truthfully. That's what she was thinking she was, because that's how it was like at her show. So for her to come on a show that's not her show was a 360 moment for her in many ways. And I think she didn't learn that both times, that she had to be a team player, objectively speaking. There were moments where she was, and then moments where she was taking over and be like, okay, let's consider everyone here. I also think this was a moment where, you know, it was just so, it really showed a divide of America in a way that we haven't seen before. That was only more hidden, you know, hush hush, but nothing we saw on screen, which that has been around for decades, forever, since the beginning of time, pretty much. It became more transparent, and it really is a moment in time where it was very ahead of itself. And it's crazy how this is it's in this day and age, it's not as shocking, but it's, you know, it's just nice TV to watch, because now this really was the predecessor to the Housewives and things of that nature in a way that we're seeing on screen. But honestly, iconic, legendary moment. And I watch it once every year. I do remember coming home from school, because I used to because I was so young back then. I was in, I believe, middle school at that point. And I remember coming home from school all the time, watching The View on YouTube. And that's how I watched The View back then. And when this came up, this was trending all over YouTube and all over the internet. It was everywhere on TV. This was a moment that was everywhere. And there will never be another moment like this on The View again, truthfully. truthfully. But I appreciate this moment and I love everything about this moment. And it's so spicy. Like, yes. Anyways, happy 15 years of Split Screen. This is a View holiday. Go watch it. It's always good to watch once a year. It's like watching Michael Jackson Thriller during Halloween. That's what's equivalent to, really. So let's talk about something else for a second here. So let's have an update on the conservative seat. Let's start there. So I don't want to talk about her again, really. But Alyssa Farah Griffin had a Vanity Fair article coming out that said that she doesn't sip the Kool-Aid, but she says she's pro-Trump. Girl, if you are pro-Trump, you are sipping the Kool-Aid. How does that exactly work? See, if Rosie thought Elisabeth was a double speaker, I wonder what she would think of Alyssa Farah, because to me, this is double speaking to no end. This is like triple speaking. Honestly, after her last week on the show, I have learned that Alyssa Farah, actually, I already kind of knew it, but this just confirmed. I kind of was like, let's just see. And what was confirmed to me was that she is not the one for this seat, like, at all. Like, really, like, not, like, out of the 4 people that are, like, the runners-up, Lindsay Granger, Stephanie Grisham, Tara Sitmayer, Alyssa Farah, she is number 4 on that list. The others rank higher than her. And she was backed into a corner even more so this week than ever before, and almost immediately. And she immediately validated everything Sunny said, to the point where where Sunny even seemed tired of it. And there was just no real pushback here. And, you know, truthfully, okay, a lot of people I know have been on Sunny's case lately, but I appreciate Sunny opening the floor, because I do think Sunny is trying to open the floor, and I do think Anna does this too, and I think Whoopi does this too, where she's going to challenge the other person to see if they can truly stand in their ground and really give their opposing view. And I think it's good that Sunny, Whoopi, Anna challenge the guest co-hosts and be like, hey, what do you think about it? And do you really believe what you're saying? And I actually really appreciate that, because I think it's good they do that, because then we can see if they're strong enough for this seat or not. And I know a lot of people are on Sunny's case, but I do see what she's doing in the sense, and I do think she's trying to make the other person better in a sense and see if they're a real believer. And I don't think Alyssa Farah really got respect from the table because of that. I don't think she did, because she offered no real pushback. Like, she would say something and immediately be backed into a corner and validating Sunny once again. And Sunny, like, just snapped at her at one point. And I'm like, girl, you need to what are you doing here? Like, what are you, like, I don't feel she's doing this job, like, at all. I just don't. And I know there are people that like her, and I don't want to be like super disrespectful or anything, but like, honestly, can somebody like who likes her or can give some type of validation for her being there, like, can someone tell me what she exactly adds to this table when she was there? Like, what does she exactly add? And was she actually adding it, objectively speaking? Because objectively speaking, from what I saw and what I'm just giving it objectively, and this is me grading it, this is not my personal opinion, is that she gave none of that. She would open it, but then she would close it almost immediately. Like, there was no pushback. And that's not what this seat is about. Listen, Anna, Alyssa, you know, Anna's already there. She's doing that job for us. We don't need it. Plus, Anna does it better, and she's funnier. And truthfully, and honestly, I would rather have, honestly, I think Anna could do this job better than Alyssa, just truthfully. And Anna's supposed to be the never Trumper Republican that goes against the GOP in a way, but still bring the spice, you know? But Alyssa doesn't bring any of that. And I there was no person. I was looking forward to her being in the drag queen segment. Like, I was like, okay, maybe we could give her some personality points. Like, we could at least give her some personality points. And she wasn't even there. It's embarrassing. It is really embarrassing. Like, I don't want to talk about this. And I don't know why there's a Vanity Fair. Like, it scares me a little that there's a Vanity Fair article coming out about her being the runner-up. I hope that doesn't mean they picked her, because please, please, please. ABC, view people, like, please don't make this happen. Like, she would be better as just like a filling guest host, but not as a permanent. No, not an everyday thing, please. I really can't with that. I really can't. And Stephanie Grisham was there last week, and I truthfully think Stephanie Grisham has given up, and she knows she's not going to be getting the seat. I just think she knows it. But I'm going to say this. What I appreciate with Stephanie Grisham last week is that she was at least trying to make some effort. She could have pushed it further. She's done better before, but I do think she knows she's not getting the seat, so she's not putting her full 110 in it. But I do like Stephanie Grisham. Like, at least she has personality. That's at the very least I asked for some personality. And I actually genuinely like Stephanie Grisham. Like, I was messaging with her this week, and we were just talking about pets and stuff, and she's really cool. She's a really cool girl, I think, in general. Like, she has made mistakes in her past, and I do think she was peer pressured into a lot of stuff that she did in her past, but I do think she's a good person overall, and I think she's more personable than Alyssa. And I don't know Alyssa, so I would love to get to know her, to understand her, but she doesn't show it enough on this show. She doesn't show it on this show actually at all. And Stephanie shows us who she is. She's not afraid to gossip. She's not afraid to go to the beauty salon with her big eyes. We love her big eyes. I feel they could really just merchandise her. Like, they could really make a doll out of Stephanie and just do big eyes and this really cute Cupid doll. And it would be really, I think it would be very financially manageable. So truthfully, at the end of the day, the answer is, let's give it to Lindsay Granger. Let's just do it. Let's do it, people. Let's go. Let's just do it. Like, she does it best. She just does. Iconic in every way. There is no fail option here. Like, we just go in with it, and there's no way to fail. Like, you're really just correct in every way. Like, you're just really correct. So please give it to Lindsay Granger. I know Tara Setmayer is coming in, but she has 3 days. She's not getting 4. So Lindsay and Alyssa got 4. So they have a higher chance, just my opinion. But I don't mind Tara and Stephanie. Actually, I was going to say, if anyone from the View crew is listening, I do think Stephanie Grisham and Tara Setmayer specifically, I think they should be added as contributors to the next season, season 26, and contributors are people who just fill in when there's someone out sick or when someone's going to be missing trips, so they could have a backup there. And I think Stephanie Grisham would be cool to just see her like on just a fill-in day. Like, you know, those days where Deborah Roberts comes in and stuff. I think she would be great for that sort of thing. And I think that's the best place for her in this show. So and they did that. I remember they did that for season 19. They put a lot of contributors like in this season 19 press article back in 2015, because they didn't know if people, because this was when they were losing people like once every 6 months. Like, it was like people just left the View studio and then they got lost and they just never came back. They just went totally missing. Like, they lost their parent or something. And They would have people in season 19 like Anna Navarro was a contributor, Sherry Shepard was a contributor. Molly Sims guest hosted so much in season 18 that I was surprised when she didn't get that seat, but she was a contributor to season 19 as well. So they had those fill-in people as backup in case someone was missing, really. But that's just me. Give the seat to Lindsay Granger. I'm just going to keep advocating this to no end. She is the correct one. And Stephanie Grisham and Tara Stepmayer can be contributors for next season. And I think that's the perfect resolution. So it looks like after all, a View reunion is happening. Joy, Star, and Deputy all reunited for a 25th anniversary special. I'm so excited. I wonder what is this going to be? Is this going to be like a dinner thing? Like, is this going to be like stylized like The Housewives or something? Or is this going to be like a documentary like they did for the 20th anniversary one? I'm really excited. I am super excited. I'm so glad we're having this moment where it's just at least one table is getting back together. That's half the glass full. So I'm really happy. I wonder what's going to happen. What are they going to dish? I think it's going to be really cool. I do think they did it this way for a reason, though. They made it OG, so they didn't have to invite people like Michelle Collins or people that are problematic, pretty much. So they really just did that because I think they heard what Michelle Collins said and they canceled on it. And they were like, you're no way coming to The View now. You're like on the banned list. So, that's what happens when you talk smack about The View. You don't seem to appear on it afterwards. And there's a lot of guests who I know did that. And they had like books and stuff ready to promote and they were talking smack about The View. I'm like, it's a bad marketing. You have to understand it's a bad marketing way to go. It's bad for marketing because it's like this person dissed The View. So now we're going to promote them. Like that's going to send like a bad message to the brand itself. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So I understand why they ban people who talk smack about The View because they are in villain era. So speaking of villain era, looks like Debbie's out of second villain era now, but Michelle Collins is put in first villain era. So that switched. We're switching one seasoners out here, I see. And I feel they wanted to avoid like more problematic people or people that wouldn't show up. So it didn't look like inconsistent. So it didn't look like this person didn't get invited. I think this was the cleanest way of doing it, but we just know they were trying to avoid Michelle Collins and people of that nature. And I think I feel they wanted to avoid if they wanted to avoid season 18 plus, here's what they could have done. They could have just invited Lisa, Elisabeth, Sherry, and Rosie O'Donnell because those were the only other people hired by Barbara Walters. Jenny McCarthy wasn't hired by Barbara Walters, so she's not Barbara W. original. So she's not BW trained. So there's no reason we really don't need her to be there. But they could have invited Lisa, Elisabeth, Sherry, and Rosie O. I don't think Rosie O would have showed up, but I think Lisa, Elisabeth, and Sherry would have for like this. Because I think that would have been nice. I think they could have really got away with that. And I think it would have been a more wholesome interview. I don't know if Elisabeth would do an interview if it was talking about the split screen moment. She seems to want to avoid those things. Even in her book, she totally avoided that. So I don't think she would be comfortable with talking about that. So maybe that's why she probably declined it. I'm guessing she might have been offered and then declined it. But I get a vibe that Elisabeth isn't the most proud of like her moments from when she was younger on this show because she doesn't end up looking in the best light. But she was also someone who is still growing up. Like when you're in your 20s and early 30s, you still are growing in a lot of ways. Whereas like now she's in her 40s and she sees that differently because the older you get, honestly, the more you're like, why was I even like this? Like, I don't want to even think about that of myself anymore. I'm not proud of that person who I was. I'm proud of who I am now. And that's what happens when you get older. And I don't think she was a fan of, being that way in a way because she seems more mature. The way she handled the show last time was one of her best moments ever. And I think she had she was secure with it before, but I felt there was even more sense of security and maturity when she came there as a guest co-host last time. And that just shows growth for you. That shows growth. And that takes time, honestly, to do. But like I said, there is a View reunion happening, and I hope you guys all check it out because I'm so excited, and we'll definitely review it in the next episode of this podcast. I'm sorry to cut it short today, but I just wanted to come on here and just talk about our Rosie versus Elisabeth 15 years of split screen. So it just feels like a View holiday today, so I thought you guys would just enjoy this special episode. So anyways, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I'm sending you all the best of love and just luck in the world, and, take a little time to enjoy the View history.